Hello, everyone. Welcome to our regular show, very popular Monday Live, Immigration for All, presented by Nora Global Media and powered by Kulna Tech. And many of you already know that we mainly talk about immigration. However, sometimes we also talk about other topics, which is not directly related to immigration. However, those are like very important for immigrants here in America. So today is one of those special show. We will talk about bankruptcy because many of you, especially those who live in America, you know that bankruptcy is a part of our daily life. Many of you hear this, hear about bankruptcy news, and many of you heard that other people applied for bankruptcy, but you may not have a very clear idea of what bankruptcy is, and especially some of our clients, our folks, they're scared about bankruptcy. Bankruptcy can be sometimes bad, sometimes it can be good too. So today we are going to talk about bankruptcy and how that can be beneficial to everybody, especially for immigrants, since this show is mainly for immigrants. So without further delay, I would like to invite my very good friend, Timothy Chambers. He's the founder and lead attorney in Chambers Law Firm. I welcome attorney Timothy Chambers to talk about bankruptcy. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Good morning, Raj. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good, good. Thank you. This is a
It's
very
good to see
beautiful
you.
morning, and the
Yes,
weather is
it
kind of getting warmer. I love it.
is. Me too. It's gorgeous outside.
Perfect, perfect. So, as I said, many people, they are scared about bankruptcy. They think bankruptcy is a bad thing, but of course, this is a good tool if someone can use it properly. So,
Right.
without further delay, I would like to invite you to talk about bankruptcy and have some basic idea about bankruptcy, and then I may ask you some questions. And if audience asks questions, probably we'll be able to answer it. If not, then we'll probably answer another day. Please start your presentation.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Raj, for having me. It's definitely an honor to be here with you today. As you were mentioning, bankruptcy can be scary at times because a lot of people just may not know what it is, how it will affect them, and especially if they're going through the immigration process right now. And so that's what we kind of want to talk about today. Now, to be clear, everybody in the United States has a right to file for bankruptcy. It doesn't matter if you are a documented immigrant with a green card, if you're a citizen, whether you have been naturalized or born here, or if you are undocumented and you're going through the process of adjusting status or trying to get some type of avenue for legal status here in the United States. Everybody can file for bankruptcy. And that's because Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says so. So it's not something that can just be taken away by the stroke of a pen. It's not something that Congress can take away. It's meant for everybody living here. Now, there might be some type of time frame in which the person filing for bankruptcy needs to be here, but to be clear, everybody can be here. Now, bankruptcy, it's a process in which people that have accumulated debt, usually I say over $10,000 or more of unsecured debt, that's credit card bills, that's medical bills, that's personal loans, payday loans, things like that. They have about $10,000 or more. And again, there's no requirement for any amount. It's just kind of how I practice. $10,000 or more, you likely qualify for some type of bankruptcy. Now, a bankruptcy will get rid of that type of debt. It can discharge it, meaning that you won't ever have to pay back those debts ever again. Once you file for bankruptcy, you will be protected. And that's because Congress has enacted some laws about bankruptcy. Most recently, they've enacted the 2005, we call it the BAPSIPA or BAPSIPA. There's a couple of different ways to say it, but it's a bankruptcy uniform law that every bankruptcy attorney adheres to. Now, there are two different types of bankruptcy. One is, I think, what most people think of. It's the Chapter 7 bankruptcy. That one is going to be the quickest bankruptcy that you can file most of the time, and that is a liquidation part of the bankruptcy code, meaning that if there are any unprotected assets, it could be that those assets are then sold by the bankruptcy trustee. A trustee is appointed by the bankruptcy court, and it's their job to oversee the bankruptcy case. Usually they're not too mean, they're not too adversarial, they are there to facilitate the bankruptcy, and so is your attorney. The other one, it's a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Now that one is more complex. It does take time. It takes about 3 to 5 years, and that's a repayment plan. But through both of these chapters, there are means in which we can protect your assets. And the way that we protect your assets, it's through an exemption. An exemption, it varies state by state. So Maryland will have different exemptions than Florida. Florida will have different exemptions than California. California will have different exemptions than Wisconsin. Every state's going to be different. So it's important to talk to a bankruptcy attorney in your particular area to see how the best way to maximize your bankruptcy protections. Along with that, once you file for bankruptcy, you are then protected. You're shielded by the bankruptcy court. And the bankruptcy court says, hey, any creditors against this person, you cannot talk to them anymore. You cannot try to collect on them anymore. You can't send them text messages. You can't sue them. You cannot garnish wages. You cannot garnish a bank account. Everything has to stop the exact moment that you file for the bankruptcy. If you are currently going through a foreclosure, meaning that the mortgage on your bank, the creditor, if they're trying to take away your house, maybe because of non-payment or some other type of default, that foreclosure stops until we see what's going on with your finances and with that particular asset. There are some things that we can do to strategize your asset protection. As I mentioned before, it is very state specific. I practice primarily here in the state of Maryland, in which we can protect up to about, I want to say, $11,000 worth of stuff. And then there's some other exemptions that we can utilize, that we can use to protect things like retirement accounts, to protect maybe you have a savings account for a college savings account. There are different things that we can utilize to protect that. So it's definitely important to talk to an attorney within your particular area. And again, it's important to know that it's not just for United States citizens. It's for absolutely everybody. It applies both to documented as well as to undocumented immigrants. There's no federal requirement, and there won't be, because it's not within the Constitution, that one person be a citizen to file for bankruptcy. The only requirement is, have you been living here in your particular state for the last 6 months? If the answer is yes, you would likely qualify for a bankruptcy. And it's also important to note that if you file for bankruptcy, it won't have an impact on your green card application or a visa renewal. It's not going to have that. If you are an undocumented immigrant and maybe you don't have a social security number, that's okay. You can still file for bankruptcy using what's called an ITIN. That's an individual taxpayer identification number. You don't even have to have a social to file for bankruptcy. It's that easy. You can file whether you're a documented immigrant or undocumented. Now, a lot of people might be concerned as to how USCIS will see bankruptcy or how they view the bankruptcy. Bankruptcy won't be considered going against moral character. That's the good moral character issue within immigration. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't know much about immigration law. I will leave those questions up to Raj. He's a specialist here in that area. But I do know that USCIS in bankruptcy, that it will not affect those types of applications. It won't affect the naturalization to become a citizen. There is a public charge rule, though, that says that if you are if you're on government benefits or you cannot support yourself, or it's likely that you will become a public charge, then maybe that will mess up some parts of immigration. Bankruptcy by itself will not do that, though. So that's definitely important to know. Filing for bankruptcy does not automatically make someone a public charge. However, if you are a business visa holder, you should continue to ensure financial stability. If you are on an H-1B visa, that's an employment-based visa, a bankruptcy might come under scrutiny by USCIS. If you're that type of immigrant, you need to show financial stability or an ability to support yourself. The way you can do this is you can have somebody file an affidavit of support. That's a form I-11864, and that can help to alleviate USCIS's concerns that somebody will become a public charge. There are some issues that might come up throughout the process of filing for bankruptcy, and you're in the middle of adjusting status or some other type of immigration proceeding. But let's talk about the bankruptcy part here. And this is true for everybody. It's not just true for immigrants or non-immigrants or undocumented immigrants. It's true for everybody. You cannot knowingly run up large amount of debts knowing or should know that you won't be able to afford those debts. So you can't go out and buy a Louis Vuitton, or you can't go out and buy a brand new car, and you can't go out and just go on a shopping spree, knowing that you probably won't be able to make those payments. That could be considered to be fraudulent. And if you are in the middle of an immigration proceeding, obviously there's going to be some issues there about the good moral character. Another thing that might affect the immigration status is it clear that the person never had intent to pay back the debt at all? Did somebody just go out and get a credit card and live some type of lavish lifestyle? Did they go on trips? Did they go on just all different types of shopping sprees and buy whatever they wanted to buy and truly had no intent to pay it back? Maybe they don't make minimum wage. You know, if you do that type of thing, it'll be hard to make those payments back. One of the biggest things, though, is being untruthful to the taxing authorities. That's going to be the Internal Revenue Service and a local state government. It's always important to be truthful. In bankruptcy, the only person that receives a discharge is an honest person. If you're found to be dishonest, that's going to have severe consequences. To kind of recap, I know that's a lot to kind of take in, but bankruptcy, it's constitutionally protected for you. It's protected for me. It's protected for your neighbor. It's protected for everybody. It can provide financial relief without affecting your particular immigration status or your chase or your petition for a particular immigration status. And bankruptcy by itself, it's important for everybody, but especially true for legal and undocumented immigrants. If you are an immigrant in the United States, you are more prone to be targeted by lenders that will want to take advantage of you. You're more prone to take out credit card debt because, especially if you're an undocumented immigrant, it's hard to make money. It's hard to make a good life if you're an undocumented immigrant. But bankruptcy is here to protect you. And it's also important to know that you can consult with a bankruptcy attorney. You can consult with an immigration attorney. If you're doing both, I would recommend that you tell your particular attorneys about the other. If you're in immigration proceedings or you're initiating it yourself, you might want to tell your immigration attorney, hey, I'm filing for bankruptcy. I just want to let you know. And similarly, if you are talking to your bankruptcy attorney, you might want to let them know about your particular immigration status. Again, it doesn't really matter, but it could have some implications down the road. And that's bankruptcy in a very short nutshell. Do I have any questions?
Thank you very much, Tim, for your wonderful presentation. And as I say that in all of our shows, the purpose of this show is only for immigration purposes, information purposes. Please do not consider it as a legal advice. If you have
Exactly.
any question about bankruptcy, immigration law, or any other legal matter, please consult a attorney regarding this particular matter, and they will be able to better serve you. So, Tim, we have not questions, couple comments. Let me read it from our
Sure.
audiences, and then I have a few questions to you. And by the way, hello everyone. So you saw that on the screen. Tim Chambers' website is www.chamberslawlawyers.com. All of his information, email address, phone number, everything is there. If you Google his name, Timothy Chambers, you'll get all the information. So he practices bankruptcy law. I practice immigration law. So if you come to me for bankruptcy matter, I'll forward him. And if you contact him and need immigration things, he may also forward to me. Either way,
Absolutely.
that's not a big issue. But yeah, we are here to help you. So we have a couple comments. Ryan Mistry, he said, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Wa alaikum assalam. So Tim, Assalamu alaikum is a religious way of greetings, like, hello, how are you kind of things. So Mr. Mistry, wa alaikum
Hello,
assalam.
Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. And Bashir Ahmed, he said, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Today, Eid ul-Fitr, everyone Eid Mubarak. So today is a Eid day. So yeah, Eid Mubarak to all of you who are watching our show at this moment or will watch later. Now, I have a couple questions to Tim. So Tim, so let's say I am a person, living in Maryland. I can be a US citizen or green card holder or, undocumented, any kind of a status. So let's say I have 4 or 5 credit cards and total, let's say I have $20,000 of debt in my different credit cards. Like, some credit card, let's say $3,000, some $7,000, some $11,000, some like, $1,000. So total, let's say $20,000 debt in my 4 credit cards. Now I would like to file for bankruptcy. Now my question is, how long it may take to wipe out all my $20,000 debt? What would be that kind of, total cost for me? I know it depends on many factors. I just want like a ballpark idea. How long, how much time, how much total cost, and is there any negative consequences after I file for bankruptcy?
Sure.
That's my question
So,
one. Yeah.
Thank you, Raj. So if you have $20,000 of debt, it does depend on. Now, I think your first question was how long will this take? That does depend on which chapter of bankruptcy that you want to file or that you qualify to file. Everybody can qualify for a Chapter 13. There's no question about it. Again, that one is a repayment. So each month you would have to make a payment within your Chapter 13 plan, and that would go to pay back some of the creditors. Some creditors might get paid back a fraction of what you actually owe. Other times they will get paid back 100%. It's very fact specific. That one takes 3 to 5 years to complete. The other one, the Chapter 7, though, once you file for the Chapter 7, you're looking at maybe 4 to 6 months, and you're out of bankruptcy within that time, or I guess after that time. There's no repayment plan in a Chapter 7. It's just you file the bankruptcy, you go to court one time. That court is generally going to be virtual, so you don't even have to take off of work. You don't even have to step out of your house if you don't want to. It's very easy to do. You can always go to your attorney's office to participate that way as well. But again, that one takes 4 to 6 months. And I believe that your second question, Raj, was how much is this going to cost? And that's a very, very small question. That's what most people are thinking, probably, right? And again, that does depend. That is very fact specific. It does depend on certain circumstances. For example, if somebody is working multiple jobs and they are W-2 employees, but they have 2 or 3, 6 jobs or more, it's probably going to be a little bit higher than somebody who only has one job. if you are self-employed, as many immigrants likely are, it's likely going to be higher than somebody who's working a W-2 job because there's more things that's involved with it. It becomes more complex. A lot of attorneys will take payment plans because I understand that my clients or people that come to me, they are already drowning in debt. They can't pay their credit card bills. Maybe they're being sued. Maybe they've already gone to court, and now the creditor is garnishing their wages, meaning that it's taking money out of their pocket each month or each paycheck. I understand all that, and I think most bankruptcy attorneys do as well. Many bankruptcy attorneys will take a retainer payment, maybe a couple $100, maybe half of the overall price, and then you will be on a monthly payment plan for the rest. Now, it's important also to note that in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the attorney cannot file the bankruptcy petition until everything is paid in full. Whereas a Chapter 13, there's going to be pre-filing attorney's fees, and then there's going to be fees built into the Chapter 13 plan, and that really just makes it more affordable for people to file for Chapter 13 bankruptcy.
All right. So I have very similar kind of another questions, but before that, Mr. Ryan Mestri, he said, "Hello, sir. আমি ইটালি সিটিজেন, আমি ইউএসএ সেটেল হইতে চাই, কিভাবে কি কারো করা যায় আমাকে একটু জানাবেন please, thank you." So basically his question is, I'm an Italian citizen, I would like to settle in the USA, what I should do. So Mr. Mestri, so that's not the topic for our discussion today. Thank you very much for reaching out. So probably sometime later we'll talk about that, especially since you live in Italy. You are in a better position than most of the other folks because Italy is a European country. It's very easy to transfer funds from Italy to America. So you can apply for E2 and other things. We'll definitely talk about another day about Italy and other European countries. But today we're focusing on bankruptcy, especially those who are within America at this moment for them. But thank you very much for watching. So Tim, my second question is very similar to the previous one. So let's say I have a home somewhere in DC, Maryland, or Virginia. So let's say I have a home in Virginia, and I did not pay, or I could not pay, let's say last 7 or 8 kind of installments for my mortgage. So what options I have in terms of bankruptcy, and what would be the consequence for that? Are they going to take away my home? Because I really worried that if I file for bankruptcy or anything happened, they may take away my home. That I do not want. So what would be the situation here?
Right. So in this situation, you have somebody that they've fallen probably on hard times financially. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they've gotten sick. Maybe a family member has passed away. A bunch of things can happen as to why people get behind on their mortgage payments. Those past payments become arrears. And that's just a legal way that we say these are payments that are past due. So a Chapter 7 bankruptcy at that point likely won't solve the issue. If you file for the Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you're likely going to lose that house. And that's probably not what you want to have happen. Instead, you can file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. That chapter is designed specifically for this particular scenario. It's designed for people who are behind on their mortgage payments, and they want the ability to take a step back, to have some breathing room, to catch up on those payments, maintaining residence in that house. They don't want to lose that house because it's something that they are very proud of. They've worked very hard to obtain, and they don't want to lose that. And maybe they have family members that live there as well. So a Chapter 13 bankruptcy would give the opportunity to catch up those missed months of mortgage payments. Now it's going to be small. It usually will be a smaller amount than what you owe. Once you do that, though, you do have to make the first payment within 30 days of filing. And you also have to continue to make the normal mortgage payment. So you will have the Chapter 13 payment, and you will also have the mortgage payment to pay once you file for bankruptcy. But if you're able to do that, you will catch up on those past payments, and you will save that house.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tim. So thank you very much, audience, for joining us today. That was our short presentation about bankruptcy. Let me summarize. And Tim, please tell me if I'm doing anything wrong. So anybody who is within the geographic area of bankruptcy, no matter what your immigration status, you are entitled for this bankruptcy protection because it's a constitutional right. Also, in general, bankruptcy has no negative consequence on your immigration status. However, if you need to learn more, especially about public charge rule and other things, please consult with the expert immigration attorney. They'll be able to better serve you. But people has a negative idea about bankruptcy. Please do not think that way, especially if you have a credit card debt, or you have you could not pay your mortgage rent. You can take this great protection, constitutional protection, and you can you can be better off. If you need any help regarding bankruptcy, please reach out to my good friend, attorney Tim Chambers. He's the founder and managing attorney of Chambers law firm. His website is www.chamberslawlawyers.com, and all your information will be there. Please reach out to him. And thank you very much, Tim, again for joining. And before we go, you are most welcome. And we have a immigration law bulletin immediately after this session, so please stay tuned. And before that, I say goodbye to my friend Tim and goodbye from me.
Thank you all that attended today.
Welcome to the latest episode of Weekly Immigration News by Raju Law. This week, we brought to you 3 latest developments in the immigration arena. Let's start with the headlines. 𝐸 reaches H-2B cap for second half of fiscal year 2025. ICE arrests 72 criminal aliens. E-Verify updates handbook on DHS rule. Let's get into details. 𝐸 has reached the H-2B cap for the second half of fiscal year 2025, with March 5, 2025, as the final receipt date for cap subject petitions requesting employment between April 1 and September 30, 2025. New cap subject petitions received after this date will be rejected. Filing dates for supplemental H-2B visas are available in the temporary increase in H-2B non-immigrant visas for fiscal year 2025 chart. Next up, ICE, alongside federal, state, and local law enforcement, arrested 72 illegal aliens in the Rio Grande Valley from March 16 to 22, including 61 criminal aliens and 2 documented gang members. Charges and convictions included aggravated felonies, violent offenses, sex crimes, drug trafficking, firearm violations, alien smuggling, and immigration-related offenses. ICE reaffirmed its commitment to enforcing immigration laws without exemptions and ensuring public safety through targeted operations. Finally, E-Verify announced that Section 7.4.2 of the Handbook for Employers, M274, has been updated to reflect the 18 December 2024 DHS final rule that automatically extends the duration of status and any employment authorization for certain F1 students.